What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle today. My name is Ryan Linkletter. I'm here with Dan Loya. Week 16 is upon us. We just had the greatest Thursday night football game I've ever watched. And now we have a great slate of games that are going to impact the playoff race. Dan, we're going to start off with the biggest game potentially of the week on Saturday night between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears in Chicago. This one, it's tough. It's a -1 spread for the Bears. The Packers have injuries coming in. The Bears have injuries coming in. And this game came down to the final play in the fourth quarter where Caleb Williams threw a game-losing interception. What were your thoughts, Dan, entering this matchup, and who's going to take it home?
Yeah, dude. This is a huge game in the NFC North, the rematch. They played each other now 2 of the last 3 weeks, and I'm feeling the home team in this one. I don't know where you're leaning, but the Bears have scored 24 plus points 5 of the last 7 games. The Packers just allowed 34 points last week against the Denver Broncos. They just lost their star pass rusher. They gave up 2 first round picks for earlier this offseason, and that's just going to take a huge blow. It's eventually it's going to bite them in the butt. I think they lost Tucker Kraft, they lost Devontae Wyatt. They're just losing too many bodies. They lost offensive linemen. It's going to catch up to them. Unfortunately, it's tough for Green Bay Packers fans, but I like where this Bears team is headed. Ben Johnson's got them, on the right path here. He's building the culture, and I really like the Bears to win this game. The Bears defense 30 takeaways, first in the NFL. They got to the quarterback 5 times. That's a season high last week. So I'm going back to Chicago, and I'm taking the home team.
Yeah, I think, with the Bears, my biggest concern with them this week is they're missing Romo Dunze and Luther Burden entering this week. They're down their wide receivers, which is concerning for me. But I think that the way the Bears win this game is on the ground. I think Kyle Mundungai and DeAndre Swift, they got that working in the second half and found a lot of success on the offensive side of the ball. I expect Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet to be heavily involved in this game to try to mitigate some of those players missing at the wide receiver position. But maybe the biggest boost is getting Tremaine Edmonds back at linebacker, a player who's pretty good against the run. I know he's nothing crazy against the pass, but it's definitely a plus in the right direction from compared to what they've been rolling out at the linebacker position. So their defense is getting healthier, right? And then you look at Green Bay's side of things. They're going to be missing offensive linemen. They're going to be missing some key parts of that defensive line, and their defense showed significant changes after the Micah Parsons injury, after some of those plays in the second half where this game was ultimately lost. And on Green Bay's offensive side of things, while I do think they'll have success moving the ball, I do think Christian Watson winds up playing in this one. I do think Chicago is going to be in more of a ground control the clock type of game, which they didn't get into until the second half when they basically were beating up on the Packers, but ultimately couldn't come out on top. So I think with Chicago being at home, right, they were so close last time. They just missed it right over the hump. I think that they are just in a better spot. And I'm interested to see how the Packers respond, knowing that probably the best player on their team is now out for the year. And, probably a little bit in the back of their heads, they're saying, man, we're just not the same group anymore. So
Yeah,
I'm going
it's
with Chicago in this one. And I absolutely love DeAndre Swift bets. So ride that, tail that, go with DeAndre Swift in this one.
do you think he's playing? He's questionable with the groin.
He's playing. He's playing this week.
Okay.
DeAndre Swift, get DeAndre Swift in there. If he's not playing, Kyle Mononga is gonna have a great game too.
Yeah, yeah, one of them definitely.
All right, Los Angeles Chargers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dan, who's going to take home this
All right.
matchup?
All right. Let me get my notes here. Yeah, I went with Dallas, dude. Chargers are a good team. Uh, we know that. I just think they're dealing with too many injuries along the offensive line. Justin Herbert's just taking a beating each and every week. It has to catch up to him, right? That defensive front of Dallas is improved. Dallas is favored in this game, surprisingly, but the Cowboys' offense has scored 24 plus points 5 straight games, and I really like their offense. Minnesota provided them issues because Minnesota's defense is good. Chargers' defense is also good. They're solid as well. They allowed under 21 points, 6 of the last 7. But I like Dallas at home, man. They're a better team at home, and I just like this Dallas team. And like I said, Herbert's taking a beating. The Chargers' offense have allowed 51 sacks this season. That's second worst in the NFL. I'm taking the home team.
Yeah, and
Go
the
Cowboys.
Chargers found a way to win last week, which significantly gave
Yeah, it's
their playoff
ugly.
chances a big bump. But
Ugly.
it was ugly. Their offense did not perform very well. They made some key plays and big moments, and Justin Herbert had some big throws. But honestly, it felt like some of those throws were a little bit lucky. I mean, they were ducks coming out of the hand, and the receiver barely found a way to catch the ball in multiple situations that were major impact changing plays. And you know, with their defense, they're elite. They have a great defense, but the way to beat that defense, Dan, that I've been saying for weeks now is to run the football. The Chiefs didn't run the football last week, and it was a bad day for them, right? Dallas has everything working on offense for a majority of the time, right? They faced a very good pass defense in Minnesota last week, but still had a really good performance offensively for a majority of that game, and they could move the ball effectively. It was just their defense really struggled. I think while the Chargers are going to have some success moving the ball through the air, I do think that on the Cowboys side of things in the offense, their offense is just too consistent, right? They have been playing these tough defenses for weeks now. They're going to respond. And typically, when we get Dak Prescott at home, he has a great game, and this team wins more at home than they do on the road. And I think that the Chargers are coming off of maybe their most meaningful win of the season, knocking the Chiefs out of the playoffs, right? Getting to the 10-win mark, the Colts losing, right? They're sitting pretty right now. I think they could be some complacency for this Chargers team entering this matchup. Give me the Cowboys. I absolutely love Javonte Williams overs in this one, and I do like Lad McConkey to have a nice day as well. Let's look at some of the other matchups here. Let's talk about the Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. Dan, this one's for the South. This is the first of two matchups we're getting. This one's in Carolina. What are your thoughts entering this matchup? And, can Baker Mayfield get back on track, or can Bryce Young have a nice day?
Yeah, well, surprisingly, doing my research for this game, I didn't realize the Buccaneers have won 5 straight games against Carolina. That they have won 9 of their last 10 games against the Carolina Panthers. So that's surprising. I didn't realize that. But both teams are kind of slumping. Tampa Bay's losers of 5 of their last 6. The Panthers just had an opportunity to take control of their own destiny. They blew it in New Orleans. It's just who's gonna win this game, man. It's a toss up, but I went with Tampa Bay because a longer rest. They had 10 days to prepare for this game, and they're starting to get healthy. And I know their defense is I'll get to
Bad.
their defense, but yeah, but they're getting healthy, and Baker actually looked a lot better than he has. I think he's starting to get healthier. I think that rest, this long week and a half, is gonna help him out with his shoulder. And he's got Mike Evans back, Godwin back. All his receivers were back for the first time last week. So I like Tampa Bay to bounce back against the Panthers. I know their defense is underwhelming, but the Panthers offense hasn't shown me anything unless they run the ball for over 200. I don't trust Bryce Young. Panthers offense has scored under 18 in 4 of the last 6 games. Bryce Young has thrown for under 210 yards in 11 of 13 games this season. I just don't have any confidence unless they run the ball, which they could, but I'm gonna
Yeah, I
take
think they
Tampa Bay
will.
here.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think Carolina will run the ball. I think they'll have some effectiveness running the ball in this one. They're going to have to control the game script. I think Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard have nice games in this one. But like you said, my biggest concerns with Bryce Young, he hasn't won a game in his career against Todd Bowles, and he struggled in every single one of those games. Right? Bowles is a good defense coordinator. I think that he'll have some plays in there mixed in. And I think he has too much pride to let what happened last week happen 2 straight weeks. Like Kirk Cousins has had his number a lot of it. I think that their defense will perform better in this one. And you saw what their offense looked like with Mike Evans. It was a little bit different. Baker had his best game in about 2 months with Mike Evans healthy and that receiver group healthy. And even like a player that no one talks about, Jalen McMillan's a really good player, and he's their fourth receiver. They are deep in the receiver core. I don't think their running game is going to get fixed. I think it's just a mid running game, even though Bucky's healthy. They're going to be able to throw the ball effectively, and they have a plethora of weapons that can beat you. I like Tampa Bay in this one, and they've had too much historic success against the Carolina Panthers, plus the extra rest, for me to pick a team where I just don't trust their quarterback. So in a big time matchup like that, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The next one, the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Denver Broncos. Dan, the Broncos, it's the same script every single week. They come down to the last minute of the game and find a way to win a one-score game. It is insane. What are your thoughts on Denver versus Jacksonville?
I really think people are sleeping on the Jacksonville Jaguars for some reason. I'm like, I'm on Twitter a lot for my work, and I see all this like slander about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know where it's come from. I know Sean Payton said in a press conference earlier this week that he called Jacksonville a small market team. I think he's kind of getting under the skin of the Jaguars. I think they're gonna come out fighting this game. So Jacksonville scored 25 plus points, 7 straight games. 0 sacks allowed back to back. I really like their offense. I don't know if you've seen him on film lately, but Liam Cohen's dialing it up, and Trevor Lawrence is on fire right now. So I really like them to pull out a victory here. You know, maybe the Broncos have a letdown, especially after beating the Packers at home last week. They allowed their defense has been kind of shaky. They allowed 26 plus 2 of the last 3, and against this Jacksonville team who's underrated on both sides of the ball. I really like them to win this game. You know, their defense is only allowing 20 points per game. They have the second most takeaways, second most interceptions. They're first in run defense. So give me the Jaguars, man, to surprise everyone else who doesn't know ball, and they're gonna win this game and introduce themselves as true contenders in the AFC.
Yeah, I listen, I think the Jaguars are a great team. I think that, my concerns with Jacksonville earlier on this year is that Trevor Lawrence was not playing at a very high level, right?
Yeah,
He's elevated his play the last month. That you can look at his splits after the Jacoby Myers trade and you can see Trevor Lawrence's stats and his efficiency numbers just shoot up and his accuracy has shot up, right? This is a different viewed Jaguars team in my mind than I looked at them
mhm,
right, earlier on in the season. They were just not a great team earlier on in the year, but they were finding ways to win. Now they have the offense clicking with a great running game paired with an efficient passing game. Liam Cohen has done a great job in Jacksonville getting this
that's
offense
awesome.
going. While I do think their defense has concerns, their pressure rate has been much better and they perform more consistent on that side of the ball over the last few weeks. Like Jacksonville is playing great football right now, but Denver is just a tough team to beat at Mile High right now with that defense. Whenever Denver's at home, and they have that defense. I'm not picking against them. They're going to find a way to win. It's the same script every single week. Bo Nix is going to play up to his competition or he's going to play down to his competition. Last week, played up to his competition, had a great game. This week, he's
Yeah,
going to play up to his competition again. He's going to probably throw for 250, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and people will be like,
okay,
Bo Nix, great quarterback. And then next week, they'll play like, I think next week they got the Chiefs. He'll have a horrible game against the Chiefs, and it'll be like 17-14 or something stupid like
yeah,
that. So like with Bo Nix, I trust him this week. I think he has a nice game. And the big thing, like with Denver, is while their defense kind of struggled last week at times against Green Bay, when they needed it most, their pass rush turns up in those moments. And while I think the Jaguars' offensive line has been better as of late, they're going to be overmatched against this Denver Broncos pass rush. They're just too good. They have too many rushers from different spots on that defensive line that cause fits. So I think I'm picking Denver in this one. I think it is going to be a 24-20 game. Give me the Denver Broncos. The next one, the Steelers travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. Dan, looking at our blitz picks right now, a lot of people are going with Detroit. Is that where you're going?
yeah, dude. Hey, yeah, for everybody out there, make sure you visit our website, check out all our picks from our staff here. But yeah, dude, I like Detroit. Surprisingly, the Lions haven't beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers since 1998. It's been a long time for them, but this is a different under Dan Campbell, and their offense is on a roll right now. 24 plus points, 7 of the last 8 games. I know their defense is shaky. They allowed 27 plus in 4 straight. But the Pittsburgh offense, man, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't think they have the firepower to keep up with this Detroit team. The NFC conference is way better than the AFC. This is kind of a different animal, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions, especially at home, dude. Tough environment for the Steelers. This is a big test for them, and I like the Lions in this one.
I think, the Steelers don't need the offensive firepower in this one to win this game. The Lions just
You don't
have
think
one of the
so?
worst pass defenses in football entering this game. And I think Aaron Rodgers, with how he's been playing over the last 2 weeks, it's been very impressive.
Oh,
Do I think they're going to win? No, they're not going to win.
okay.
They're not going to
That's
win this game. They're
man.
going to move the ball effectively though, but their defense is going to be in for a rough matchup. I think that Pittsburgh on the road facing this offense with what they can do at different positions, whether that's at receiver, running back, whatever it is. Detroit, Jared Goff has been on fire as of late too. Like he has not
Yeah.
been the reason Detroit has regressed this year. He's been playing great. It's that defense, right? Their defense is just not good. They allow way too many yards, but I think Detroit is going to beat the Steelers. They're just a more talented team. They're at home, right? This is a must-win game for them. Pittsburgh, this game really doesn't mean much, to be honest, right? It's all going to come down to that matchup against Baltimore, right, in that last week of the regular season. So for Pittsburgh, well, I think they're playing good football and much better than they have been this entire year. This is a tough matchup for them. And give me the Detroit Lions. I absolutely love Jamison Williams this week. He's been on fire. Make sure you get his props in there. And DK Metcalf, another guy I like this week as well. Let's look at the Sunday night football matchup, Dan. The Patriots take on the Baltimore Ravens. Can the Pats, find a way to get back on track this week, or can the Ravens make some noise?
Oh man, it's a tough game. Yeah, I picked the Patriots. I picked New England. Patriots were up big in that in that game against Buffalo. They blew their lead, unfortunately, but I still like their team. They were holding teams under 24 the previous 11 games, um, and the Baltimore's offense was in a slump. They played Cincinnati last week. They looked good. Lamar actually looked a lot better, but their previous couple games, they were scoring under 24 points in five straight. They have allowed, they can't pass block right now. They allowed 40 sacks this season. That's tied 25th in the NFL. So I just think the Patriots are a good team. People are still sleeping on them. I think they're going to find a way to win this game. I do worry that Derrick Henry could turn back the clock and run all over this Patriots team. But I'm going to trust Mike Vrabel in a bounce back game to win on the road here.
Mm. I think entering this matchup, I think that the Ravens played their best game of football the entire season against Cincinnati last week. They played great defensively. They played great offensively at times as well. But this matchup
Yeah.
against New England, I look at what New England can do through the passing game and why, right, this team has been winning games. Their offense just has so many different weapons that are tough to stop. Baltimore's coverage has been incredibly inconsistent this year, and they don't have a great pass rush, right? New England is going to be able to move the ball consistently on them. I flip the other side of the ball. Mike Vrabel has had a ton of success against Lamar Jackson throughout his career. And
Oh, good point.
I know that they're missing some players on the defensive side of the ball, but I think that is just enough with a Lamar led Ravens team where he's not running the ball and not playing great football right now. So, well, I think that this game will be high scoring. I think that the Patriots will make the plays when it matters most and keep the Ravens off the field. And like I said, it's going to come down to that last week for the Steelers and the Ravens, right? One of those teams could be below 500, fighting for 9-8, right? We'll
Yeah.
see what happens, but I like the Patriots to get back on track this week and win that ball game. I do think if I'm betting in this game, Hunter Henry unders are bad, or I mean are good. You want to bet Hunter Henry unders, and then on the other side of the ball, a player that I don't really love is Zay Flowers as well. So I would avoid
All
those
right.
two guys. The Monday night matchup, Dan, 49ers at Colts. This is basically an elimination game for the Colts if the Chargers can win. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this can be a fun game. Another interesting fact here, the Colts have won 5 straight matchups against the 49ers. The
Ooh,
49ers haven't beaten the Colts since 2001. So it's been a long time. I think that this is kind of a sleeper game here because the 49ers got to travel to Indianapolis. It's Philip Rivers' first home game back. That environment is going to be pretty impressive. A lot of fans out there. It's going to be a true home field advantage, in my opinion. I know the 49ers offense has been awesome, 26 plus, 5 of the last 6. But this Colts defense has kind of been underrated here. They've been holding teams under 24 3 of their last 4 games. So I think this is an upset here. I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take Indianapolis. Uh, I know Phil Rivers. He's 44 years old, and I think his arm is cooked. But they got a pretty strong run game, and against this 49ers defense, who can't rush the passer, they're worse than the NFL. They only had 16 sacks. Miles Garrett has more sacks than the 49ers team, okay? They can't get after the passer. Phil Rivers is gonna be comfortable back there. He's gonna be able to read the zone coverage of Robert Saleh. He's gonna look at this and say, "I eat this for breakfast." Come on, man. I'm a veteran here. Yeah, I really think the Colts are gonna win this game, and the 49ers control their own destiny, especially after Thursday Night Football. But I think the Colts they're gonna win this game.
listen, I like your reasoning. I can't get behind it. This 49ers offense is
It's
on
alright.
fire right now,
They
and
are, yeah, man, they are.
While the Colts, sure, they've been holding teams to less points, they're allowing so many yards, and it's only a matter of time before that field goal
Bend don't
regression
break.
turns into touchdowns. They're literally the definition of a bend but don't break defense that's not super talented right now. Outside of Latale too, this defense does not have that many playmakers. Sauce Gardner's out, Charvarius Ward's out. Their secondary is beyond cooked right now, right? There are so many different weapons the 49ers can beat you with, and I know Ricky Pearsall might be out in this one, but they're on fire right now, and Shanahan has done a great job of uh of finding ways to make plays with the different type of playmakers this year. And I think Christian McCaffrey's matchup on the ground is also something that I'm intrigued by. While I do think the Colts, right, have a good matchup against the 49ers defense, Rivers only had 2 completions of 10 plus yards last week, and that's kind of the biggest thing you take advantage of a lack of pass rush is pushing the ball down the field. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that efficiently with their quarterback. So it's gonna be a quick passing game, and it's gonna come down to the 49ers making fundamental plays. I still think while this defense isn't super talented, Salah has them playing at a level where the fundamentals are still strong for this group. And I think they will be able to make the stops when they need to. This is the 49ers are going to win this ball game. This has 49ers written all over it for me. And I am riding with them. All right, let's get through the less interesting games and we'll kind of fly through these a little bit here. We'll go one by one for these games. Dan, Eagles Commanders, tell me who you're going with.
All right, I went with Philadelphia because I still don't trust their offense. You know, they played the Raiders. They scored what 31 last week. I don't care. I still don't trust them. The Raiders can't stop anybody on either sides of the ball, but the Eagles still have a really strong defense. They've held teams under 10 points 3 of their last 6. You know, they have 9 takeaways, 19 sacks, and recorded an interception in 5 straight games. So I think regardless of how the offense looks on Saturday, because this game is on Saturday for everybody that didn't know, I think the Eagles are going to find a way to win behind their strong defensive unit. So give me
Yep,
Philly.
I got the Eagles as well on that one. Next one, the Bengals versus the Dolphins. Bengals have a lot of drama
I got
around them right now with Joe
yeah.
Burrow in that situation, especially coming out of that shutout. I know you're going with the Dolphins because of that matchup on the other side of the ball, but the Bengals defense has been a little bit underrated in terms of how effective they have been slowing down the pass. And I think Devon A. Chain has a really nice game, but I also think that this Miami Dolphins defense is just not consistent enough for me to trust them in a matchup where Jamar Chase is there. T. Higgins is likely coming back. Chase Brown's a weapon for them. The Bengals were bad, but this is also a team that, against Buffalo scored a ton of points. The first time against Baltimore scored a ton of points. They've been in a little bit of a slump the last 2 weeks, but with T. Higgins healthy, this team is just a different type of animal. And I think that they're going to be able to take care of the Miami Dolphins in this one. The
Yeah,
next game
real
here,
quick.
we got
Hang on,
the
hang on.
what?
Sorry, Ryan. I got a quote. I got one quote for you.
All
Draymond
right.
Jones, Baltimore Ravens linebacker, last week after playing the Cincinnati Bengals, he said, "quote They didn't feel lively to me. I felt it play one that they weren't ready to play. It was too cold for them. So a lot of all this
Good thing they're
noise
in
coming out of
Miami. Good thing they're in Miami.
yeah, I know, but I'm thinking with all this noise with like Joe Burrow and like all this they want coaches fired, they want their GM Duke Tobin fired. I think there's something there, and when there's smoke, there is fire. So I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna go with the Dolphins, who are trying to build a culture with Mike McDaniel and a new starting quarterback. So I went with Miami.
Interesting. All right, Bills versus Browns. Who you going with?
Uh, Dude, this is another matchup that it could be like the Browns offense stinks, but their defense is really good. And I was looking at it, historically, Josh Allen. Listen, Josh Allen has only thrown 1 touchdown against the Browns in his career here. So there could be something here, but I think the Bills are just they're too good on offense right now. So I went with Buffalo. You know, Josh Allen 3 TDs back to back games, Cook over 100 plus yards 3 of the last 4. So weird stuff happens in Cleveland, but I still went with the Bills.
Yeah, it's Buffalo. Buffalo's beating the Browns. There's no way Shadur Sanders is scoring more than 14 points against
Could you
them this
imagine?
week. The Bills are winning this game. The Bills are winning it. The next one here,
Who you got?
Vikings versus the Giants. You're going
Okay.
with the Giants. I'm going with the Vikings. Right? We'll give two reasons why we are going with those teams. I am picking the Vikings because they have an elite pass defense and have been
Yep.
playing really well on that side of the ball. And the second reason is JJ McCarthy has completely shifted how consistent his performances has been, and the Giants have been allowing the most yards per play on through the ground and through the air compared to every other team in the NFL right now. So they are just a mess right now on both sides. And that's why I'm going with the Vikings. Expect Justin Jefferson to have a nice bounce back game in this one.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think the Giants' defense, their weakness is their run game, but Minnesota hasn't been able to run the ball successfully this last couple weeks. You know, Minnesota scored 31 plus back to back weeks, but this week I'm looking at their injury report. They're possibly down 3 offensive linemen against this Giants defense that has recorded 31 sacks. That's the middle of the pack this season. And Brian Burns is second in the NFL. He's got 13 sacks this season. So dude, I know the Giants are on a rough spot right now, but I think they're gonna pull out a home victory against the Vikings, man.
Listen, it is going to be interesting to see what happens
This
there.
is why we
That is a
watch.
game that, while it's not an intriguing matchup, I definitely want to watch. I think it'll be a good game. The next one here, Chiefs versus Titans. We're split here once again. We'll give two reasons. I'm going with the
Yeah,
Chiefs in a large part due
yeah, I want to
to
hear. Yeah, what's
I have 3 reasons. The first one is they're gonna win when I want them to lose because 'cause they've been doing the complete opposite of what I want them to do this year. That's the first one. There's no logic behind that, but that's what's been happening. The second reason is this defense still has a majority of the people out there that they need to be out there. Sure, Trent McDuffie's probably out of this one, right? But their defense still has a very good run defense. Tony Pollard's been going off the last 2 weeks, and this Tennessee Titans offense is just a bad offensive unit. There's zero consistency there right now. And on the other side of the ball, I know that there are some concerns on there as well, but Andy Reid's going to put together a game plan for probably one of the few times this season that is catered around how easy can we make it for Gardner Minshew. So I think they'll be able to move the ball just enough, and I think Travis Kelsey probably has a nice game in what could be his last few weeks of his career. So I'm taking the Chiefs, even though I want them to lose. What are your thoughts?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Both teams 1-4 in their last five. Casey's offense is in a slump. They have Gardner Minshew coming in right now, but they scored under 24 5 of their last six games. I think the Chiefs team isn't, they're not that good, and I think the Titans have been fighting these last couple games. They've scored 24 plus past 2 weeks. Um, you know, they're a home team, man. We're gonna see how the Chiefs respond. They're finally eliminated. This is a toss up game. Like we don't know. We don't know what teams are gonna show up here. But I like the Titans because I think they continue to fight each and every week. So I went with them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I hope they lose. I hope the Chiefs lose. Jeremiah Love is calling. We need him.
Oh,
Need him back there in Kansas City. All right, Jets versus Saints.
all right.
I'm going with the Saints here. Tyler Shuck is playing at a great level, but the thing that no one's talking about is the Saints actually have a really good defense, and their defense has been really consistent over the last 2 months, playing against a quarterback situation, which we don't know who's going to be rolling out there for the Jets. It's probably going to be Brady Cook, 3 interceptions
Pretty cook.
last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it. The Saints are winning this ball game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, since 2005, the Saints are 4-1 against the New York Jets. Just like you said, their defense has been pretty solid these last couple games. They've held teams under 22 for the last 5 games. So yeah, Brady is not cooking right now at quarterback. So I like the Saints at home. They're building something right now.
They are building something. Kellen Moore is doing a good job over there because they don't have much talent, and they're doing a good job. All right, Falcons versus Cardinals here. Dan, the Cardinals were
Oh,
staring me at the face a little bit once again. Thought about picking them. Right, couldn't do it.
oh,
Like
oh,
I couldn't do it. I couldn't
goodness.
do it. I'm going with the Falcons here. Bijan Robinson should be in for a nice game. The Cardinals still have a ton of injuries on both sides of the ball, but I do
Yeah,
think the Cardinals put up some points in this one. I think they moved the ball effectively through the air against this Falcons pass defense that has not been very good as of late. What are your thoughts?
hmm yeah. I think this is gonna be a fun game. You look at the recent history. The Cardinals have allowed 40 plus points 4 of their last 6 games, dude. That's kind of hard to do,
It's a
even like
defensive coach
anybody
too.
else.
Defensive
Dude,
coach.
it's so I dude, it's the last home game for Arizona. The coach really wants to win. This is a huge game for him. He's fighting for his job. Um, dude, Atlanta has too much talent on offense, and the way this defense is playing for Arizona, I don't have any faith in them right now. So I took Atlanta, dude. Kirk Cousins is rolling right now, and they had 10 days to prepare for this game. So I like Atlanta to win.
Yep, I'm going with them too. The last one, the Texans versus the Raiders. Dan, Texans are
Mhm.
going to win by 3 scores on this one. It's going to be ugly. The Raiders offense, I hope they score 14. That's the hope, right? The Cardinals got
Yeah.
some garbage time points last week, which was great, but the Texans came out shooting out of the gate. Like Texans are playing really good, sound football over the last 2 months. Their defense is one of the best I've seen in the last 10 years. This is a game where I just hope the Raiders come out healthy and Ashton Genty doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is our last game of the week, huh? Best for last. Yeah, I'm taking the Houston Texans, dude. The Raiders fired their offensive coordinator, a couple weeks ago. It hasn't mattered. They were only recorded 75 yards in 4 quarters against the Eagles. Yeah,
That's
they're shut out again, dude. Yeah, it's rough out here for Raider Nation. So yeah, dude, go with Houston. Don't overthink this, man. They're fighting. They're a really good football team at home. Houston Texans, they're gonna blow them out.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, hey, drop all of your predictions and comments down for week 16 down in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Angle content. And me and Dan will catch you guys next time.